watching children play this game called hopscotch. It looked real innocent, right? What if I told you there is no innocence in none of these games we played when we was children? This was all a ritual to set us up later on in life for the Matrix. The elites gave us games like this, and they took away real spiritual meaning. Remember, the program starts when you are a child. We were supposed to be learning about the body, personality, soul, and spirit.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG Reels, Facebook, anything weird, unusual, unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the Seekers man who's watching the videos entirely. Commented down below. I greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, Seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
And teleported in a restaurant that was supposed to be closed. So this restaurant is closed, everyone's gone, and this person is by themselves. And they call this on camera.
Could be a glitch.
Confused. But he definitely just appeared out of nowhere. Stay weird.
Let me tell you about some of the things I just learned today. Tom Cruise is older than Gandalf. Tom Cruise is almost 63 years old today, while Ian McKellen, who is the actor who played Gandalf, was 62 years and 5 months old. 15 million people who bought Grand Theft Auto 5 have passed away while waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. Terry Irwin has not been on a date since losing her husband, Steve Irwin, 20 years ago now. Rob Schneider recently said publicly that Adam Sandler has called him every week for the past 30 years. LA has more taco trucks than gas stations, as it should be. I'll pay the premium prices for the tacos, but not the gas. That's actually literally like double the amount of taco trucks. That's amazing. Central Park is larger than the entire country of Monaco, and it also is about double the size. Kind of close. Hawaii is moving towards Japan 4 inches a year, or 10 centimeters if you feel that way. If you feel that. That was the most American line that I've ever said.
If you're unfamiliar where Pace, Florida is, it's located right up there in the Panhandle. Residents were startled and woken right out of their sleep at around 5 a.m. to a crazy sound coming out of the sky.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, take a look at this video.
So we all just got woken up to some disturbing sound all through the whole area. It was called 911, and they said they've gotten like over 50 calls about it.
You hear how loud that is? What is that? Here's another video from another part of Pace, Florida.
What is this noise?
Same sound.
What does that sound like to you?
Signal jam.
Residents have also reported seeing strange lights in the sky coming from the ocean right before dawn this past week. Only one news outlet reported the sounds in the sky and claimed it was a tripped steam line. So my question to you is, do you think that was a tripped steam line, or was something else lurking in the area? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Damn, young Thug, who would've knew that Thugger was out here snitching? In my mind, I'm just wondering, how is young Thug gonna spin this scenario? What excuse is he gonna come up to what we all heard on this damn audio of him allegedly snitching? Y'all remember what he said? He don't fuck with rats. He called Gunner a rat. So now with this audio, is he gonna call himself a rat? Now I'm just wondering, is the industry gonna hold him to the same standard as everybody else they deem snitches? The same way they did Gunner? The same way they did 6ix9ine? I know he was telling, but still, a rat is a rat, right? Am I wrong? Am I tripping? Now can you and Gunner rekindle y'all relationship? Y'all, listen to the audio.
This motherfucker money from the water. I'm coming out. This in that mountain, and I'm in the water. I said, what the fuck? That was so weird. This fucking damn shiny.
listening to that audio, what do y'all think? Let me know. Am I tripping? Was that snitching? Dry snitching? Andy snitching? A little sprinkle of the seasoning? Let me know down below in the comments. How y'all feel about it?
You
Tell
have
me down
spare
below.
bedrooms in your house or apartment, you may soon be taxed extra for it. This is what lawmakers in Australia are proposing as a radical plan to address their housing and affordability crisis. Now, last week, during the country's economic reform roundtable, one of the several proposals that they made would work by disincentivizing or punishing people who have spare bedrooms. For example, if you are a family of 3 but you have 5 bedrooms, you would be taxed extra for those 2 additional bedrooms. And this is because Australia has a bit of a problem. They simply don't have enough homes, which has caused house prices to skyrocket, and since they consistently fall short of their annual target of building 240,000 new houses, they're now being forced to find ways of making space with the houses they've already got. But some people are outraged about this, saying that it's intrusive and that if they have empty bedrooms, it's for guests or storage. They argue that this is an infringement on privacy and freedom and that it's unfair to expense those who have retired. But what do you guys think? Is this going too far, or is it necessary to ensure everyone has a home?
I mean, that's kind of crazy, bro. You're getting taxed because you have some extra rooms in your house. Could you imagine getting a bed and be like, oh, because you have like 2 or 3 more extra rooms, man, you gotta get taxed on that. Nah.
People are leaving this museum with bruises, scratches, and nightmares, and one painting might be causing it. The Artemis fractal, painted by Bill Stoneham, is considered to be one of the most haunted paintings in the world. Zach Baggins from Ghost Adventures added it to his museum thinking that this would be a cool exhibit, but visitors are now experiencing physical and emotional reactions that are impossible to ignore. Here's the wildest part about it though, nobody seems to understand why this painting is actually considered haunted. Paranormal experts think that it might be a psychic amplifier, and the painter said that the painting has a living energy. That means that it can reflect and magnify the emotional and spiritual energy of anyone who looks at it. People look at it and they report fear, sudden sadness, even physical bruising and scratches, like the painting is reacting to them directly. When people visit the museum, they report fainting, crying, having nightmares, or coming out with bruises and scratches. And this isn't just an isolated incident. In the same museum, there's a doll named Peggy, and she's notorious for having paranormal activity. I'm gonna make a video about her after this. But like having both of these objects in the same space makes it feel like something dark is spreading through the rooms. Would you be brave enough to visit this museum, or do you think that all of this is just a publicity stunt? Let me know and follow for more.
Nope.
This is why
I rebuke that negative energy
on your skin when something don't feel right. Okay? Or you hear the saying of your hair standing up on the back of your neck. What does an antenna do once it receives a frequency? It stands up right. All right? So the reason the hair stands up on your back of your neck when something doesn't feel right or seem right is because your skin is literally an antenna. Now, these frequencies that you emit out your skin goes out into the universe and begins to immediately reshape your environment around you based upon what it is that you have been thinking, based upon what it is that you have been sending to the... Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Based on what it is that you have been sending to your brain. How have you been programming your computer? All right, your brain is literally a computer. All right, and the reason why a lot of us black people and Latinos, which are the original gods, are walking around completely blind and lost right now is because we walking around without no goddamn GPS, no Wi-Fi. Okay, if you don't have the neurochemistry in your brain set up to teach, set up to learn, set up to better yourself, then you're going to do whatever programming you're thinking at the time. Okay, so basically, these images that your ancestors used when they talk, once again, they're called hieroglyphics. All right, this is why they wrote those on those Egyptian pyramids.
And then like even like that freaky weird pedophile shit that be going on, like you hear about it, but it's dark and demonic energy that this industry was built on, and people manipulate young women, they manipulate kids, and at the end of the day, it's all for the dollar and all to feed their ego. So I've seen some shit where you be like, that's just not right. Like that person shouldn't be talking to that person. That person shouldn't be in the room with that person alone. That person shouldn't, but on the other side, what I've also seen is some very innocent situations get turned into things that have nothing to do with the person or the position in power, but because it was manipulated from the other side, it made someone who was just trying to operate within the system look bad. I mean, like I said, like, I've been part of lawsuits where I wasn't even in the same city, but because it was an event that I sponsored, or it was a movie.
So I see everybody saying that they haven't seen the president for the last couple of days, and this shit is looking kind of weird. Now, the fact that J.D. Vance jumped on TV and said what he said, and we all heard what he said, that's another thing that makes this shit believable. And aside from the videos, I went down some rabbit holes. That Pentagon Pizza Index, they said they're at DEFCON 5 right now. And if you don't believe me, you could just Google Pentagon Pizza Index and it will come up. Go to the website and you'll see. Mind you, this is Labor Day weekend. We all know. The president loves to speak and we haven't heard from him. They have things going on for the Labor Day weekend and he's not a part of it. That's what they're saying. I'm gonna just say this. Whatever is going on right now, they've been getting us ready for this shit for the last couple of months. They've been making us look left when we should have been looking right the whole entire time. Telling us something is coming in the next couple of months and things of that nature. Trust and believe, whatever is going on, whatever is about to happen, they already knew what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna say this, protect your peace by any means necessary, because things can get crazy real fast. I mean, just jump down the timeline. Them deploying the military in different states and things of that nature. None of this shit add up. So again, we're dealing with the masters of illusion. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm out.
The whole process of cloud seeding and weather manipulation can fully be weaponized. And that's what the conspiracy is that all these big countries like China trying to learn the technology of weather manipulation, because you can't prove it's like no, it's just the weather.
It's just random. Oh, we didn't. Oh, that's so sad. We didn't know.
Okay, so I'm on the NOAA.gov site right now. They have a bar that says weather modification project reports, and in that it defines weather modification. So this is, if you're doing weather modification, you are required to report these ways, which means they exist. These aren't theories. This is from .gov. I'll just start with the banger. Using lasers or other sources of electromagnetic radiation, releasing electrically charged or radioactive particles or ions into the atmosphere, releasing aerosols, gas, liquids, weather modification, and the one that I thought was really crazy is it says applying shockwaves, sonic energy sources, or other explosive or acoustic sources to the atmosphere.
It's getting crazy how quickly we just move past things.
And I'm gonna so that's confirmed, bro. Weather manipulation is confirmed. That's crazy, man. That's on actually the .gov website. I wonder how many people even know that it exists.
Take you guys to one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive grocery store in the United States of America. So let's go check it out really quick.
Those prices looking like
a lot of just kind of small houses up on stilts because this is all tundra. The crazy part is it's only about 2:30 in the afternoon and it's almost dark out. There's a school bus in the village. All the kids are getting off school right now. And this is the Coopit Corporation, and this is also a grocery store right here. Let's go check it out.
They're hitting on, bro. What these prices hitting on, you gotta know.
As you guys can see, it is not cheap to live out in the village up here. Everything you get is extremely expensive. You do get paid more if you can find a job, but it costs a lot to live out here.
As soon as I saw those prices, I'd have been like,
there's the playground there. Here's the school right there. The career fair is happening in the gymnasium back here, so that's where we're heading right now. Well, guys, back in the hotel room. Morning, guys. We're heading south. Back to Anchorage. We're almost back home, and that was a very successful trip. That is the most
seekers. Would you live out there, man? That's a no for me, man. Those prices, I can't deal with that, man. $22 for some damn, what was it, for some cranberry juice? Nah. We out.
I don't think people are grasping how serious this is. Half of the world just stopped shipping packages to the US. This is deeper than just getting your Sheen packages. That means medicine, parts to cars, materials that we need for warehouses to fully operate, things like your iPhone and many more. And now I'm hearing rumors that the store said the shelves could be empty because of this. And if y'all thought inflation was bad now, give it a couple weeks if this blockade does not stop. Them shelves gonna look real biblical, because what people don't understand is the majority of everything that's in the US is imported from another country. If y'all don't get no imports, that means that the shelves is empty. And if the shelves is empty, the little things that are on the shelves, the price goes up. Drastic inflation. Let's all pray that what they saying on the news is capped. Because if they stopping shipments to the US, it's about to get biblical. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments of what y'all think about them stopping all shipment crates to the US in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom. Stay tuned.
Did y'all know wind is actually the effect of a powerful energy source? When y'all see wind being blown and tornadoes and storms happening, do y'all really think that that's happening for no reason? Is it just a natural cause or a natural disaster? This video is definitely going out to the air sign. Yeah, these blinds is closed. When you look up the definition of wind, it's moving air, caused by uneven heating of the earth by the sun. I mean, just think about it. Every single time in anime, when a person powers up, wind is just going crazy around them. It's the literal effect of energy. When I was in middle school, I even asked my teacher, well, how does wind blow? Something kinetically has to be moving in order for it to take that effect. He actually told me that wind comes from the cold areas of the North Pole and the South Pole. But you know, that didn't never make sense to me. Wind is actual energy. That's why it's used for electricity. Every time Storm powers up, she has electricity walking around her. That's why lightning happens when it storms. And it all has to come from a source. Someone, something, some being has to be conducting a powerful energy in order for this wind to happen and this fan to blow. And they have figured out how to transfer that wind into the benefit of their electricity and energy. Because they know when these storms happen, that's these beings on the other side powering up. Wind is a physical effect of energy around us. You ever heard somebody say, I don't like the feel of this wind? Something's about to happen? Because they can feel the energy of the wind that something is about to happen. There's a lot more going on with these thunderstorms, wind, and lightning. So when you see wind blowing, something is conducting energy, especially on the other side. So y'all stay dangerous.
How many people remember going outside watching children play this game called hopscotch? It looked real innocent, right? What if I told you there is no innocence in none of these games we played when we was children? This was all a ritual to set us up later on in life for the Matrix. The elites gave us games like this, and they took away real spiritual meaning. Remember, the program starts when you are a child. We were supposed to be learning about the body, personality, soul, and spirit. But they replaced sacred knowledge and gave us boxes with numbers in it. This game was dealing with the Kabbalah and the Tree of Life. Remember, they tell you the truth because they had to, not because they want to. Karma is a real thing, and they can always say, we did tell them. Well, they told us in a demonic way. But this story go a little deep. Stay with me. I want people to pay close attention to the numbers they use for this game. It starts from 1 and end at 10. This is connected to the 1 and 0 matrix computer code. The reason why you can't see 0 in this game is because we represent the 0. The 1 and 0 represents life and death. This is also connected to another game we used to play called tic-tac-toe. You have the 0 and the X. The Roman numeral for X is 10 or 10. It put us in a box since we was children. Go to school and sit down at your square desk and follow directions on the blackboard. By the way, please think outside of the box. This is the box they were speaking about. So many people believe that rituals just look like this. This is only one form. This is another form. Everything goes back to this planet Saturn, which is the black cube, or Cronus eating its own children. That's why the programs start when we are children. This system is eating us alive. We are no longer learning about spirituality, the soul, the cosmos, the universe, God, ether. We are not learning about nothing important no more. Our consciousness is now trapped in a cube. They took our spirits and made them numbers and trapped us in a box. Corporations, schools, religions, everything goes back to the cube. These people that control everything look at us like we are squares. By definition, a square is someone that don't understand what's going on. And last time I checked, we are the squares because we don't understand what's going on. It's something they understand that we don't understand. And it goes back to this. If they can program you when you are young, they can actually mold and shape the future. Keep trying to tell people that we are the squares that's locked away in a prison. We are not free. Only so much I can say about this topic.
Y'all, I seen the sky look bad before, but I have never ever seen it look like this. Tell me why everyone in Brisbane, Australia was seeing this across the sky, y'all. And I mean everybody. And people were saying it felt like something was... Yo, check this out, y'all. This is crazy.
I just want to show you the sky. I mean, talk about a grid. This is just crazy.
And then talk about how low the sky is, y'all. Look at the bird. The bird is literally eye level with the trees.
Well, look what we have again here in Brisbane. Look at these natural cloud forms. Wow, Mother Nature's amazing. Look at that.
I don't think that's natural, my guy.
Hey, Mother Nature at its finest.
Looking at the sky almost wants to give me claustrophobia. Are you guys picking up on this? Are y'all feeling the same way? Because look how low it is.
Australia were some of the most beautiful we've ever seen. But what's going on right now? Like...
Y'all, look how low the sky is again, y'all.
There's a start point right here. And it's just like a...
Y'all see the hole punch clouds? And then it's rippling throughout the whole sky.
Throughout the whole of Brisbane, going that way.
So what's going on here, y'all? I thought the higher ups were taking care of this. Why are we still seeing in our skies? Even looking over here, y'all, it's a cloudy, gloomy day. And I told you everyone was seeing this. So my question is, right? This looks to be, a little bit. So people in Brisbane, Australia, how y'all feeling? I want to know how you guys are feeling after all of this. Anyone else who has ever seen this in their skies, how do you guys feel the next day, y'all? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shift is here. Let's get it. Peace in.
In kids' cartoons.
Talk about
In an episode of Care Bears, the bears and their cousins find themselves in a place called Drab City, where color has vanished and people who live there don't seem to care about anything. This was caused by a mysterious force that took everyone's color and feelings away. And slowly, it started going after the bears, and they eventually gave in until help arrived. The whole episode was about mental health, and it came off as way too heavy for a kid's show. Next, in The Fairy Godparents, Timmy gets upset for not being appreciated for the good deeds he's done and wishes he was never born. He's then transported to an alternate universe where it shows that everyone's lives are better without him. And to add insult to injury, Timmy gets sent to what's basically the pits of hell. And when Timmy gets a hold of Jorgen's wand, he takes time to think if wishing himself to exist is worth making everyone's lives miserable. It's a pretty dark and messed up plot. And lastly, this Thomas and Friends episode starts as per usual, with Thomas giving a helping hand. Then, it's not long after that a character named Stepney ends up getting lost in a scrapyard, getting lost in a fog and almost getting scrapped in the process. This was meant to warn kids to be careful while on their journeys, or you may not live to tell your story.
Ghost stories from...
Hey man, that's freaking crazy, bro. The messaging, man, in these kid shows, man, it's like when you think about it, when you're a kid, you're just so oblivious to it, but there's real life messages in all pieces of media, man. You just gotta be able to see it. Because I sure wasn't picking up on that as a kid.
From around the world. This is hands down my most requested video. Mexico, La Llorona. Once there was a woman named Maria who married a rich man and had 2 children. But eventually her marriage hit a rough patch and her husband started spending less and less time with her and the kids. Until finally Maria caught him cheating. Absolutely enraged at this, she ends up drowning her 2 children. She immediately regrets it and tried to save them, but it was too late. Then she stopped eating and grew thinner and thinner until she resembled a skeleton. Eventually, she finally passed away by the same river that she drowned her children, still crying and mourning over them. So after she died, she went to heaven but was denied entry. She was banished to purgatory on earth until she could find her lost sons. And that's how she became La Llorona, which also translates to the weeping woman. She floats over bodies of water in a long white funeral gown. She also kidnaps children and attacks cheating husbands.
Damn. Okay. I'm probably gonna have to call edit on this one. Yeah, I'm calling edit. What do you guys think?
The darkest conspiracy theories. The Teletubbies theory. The theory says that the show is inspired by historic events
Really?
that happened in a Bulgarian mental facility. Each Teletubby is inspired by a kid that was experimented on. Lola was based on a child who had facial disfigurement and had to smile all the time. And ended up lying in his own puke. And Poe was based on a child who fell into fire, which is recognizable why his color is red.
Here's some conspiracy theories that I
believe that?
think have passed the level of theory and are true. Women's clothing is designed with little to no pockets for the sole purpose of selling more purses. High-end art is just a scheme to launder money and avoid taxes. Like this one here, sold for $43 million. This one sold for $46 million. This one was $84 million. Someone actually paid $87 million for this. This has got to contribute to inflation in some way. Things that happen in the entertainment industry, like with movies, TV shows, video games, are done on purpose to gauge interest and get opinions before an official announcement. That little bit of dust that comes off the end of tissues when you pull them out of the box is specifically designed to get you to sneeze, that way you need more tissues. The government orchestrates their own conspiracy theories to get us distracted from actual problems.
Hey man, she was hitting that head on the nail, bro. Especially like I said, how some of those theories, how they can be true. I'm about to say, you guys think, especially the last one, when she said how sometimes the government, they be trying to put theories out there, trying to distract us from the bigger truth. That's why I tapped in with this, or tuned into this type of content, man, so I can learn, so I can expand my mind. I didn't want to be distracted no more. Where's this guy?
Some trees can actually grow inside of your lungs. In Russia, doctors performed surgery on a man named Artyom Sidorkin, suspecting that he had a cancerous tumor in his lungs. Instead of a tumor, though, they found a 5-centimeter fir tree branch inside of his lung.
What?
Doctors believe that Sidorkin accidentally swallowed a fir tree bud, which later grew into a branch. The probability of dying on your birthday is higher than any other day. There is actually a 14% chance of dying on your birthday than any other day. This is a shocking phenomenon called the birthday effect, which may be due to extra stress, drinking more, or people engaging in risky behaviors on their birthdays. A devil's chair exists in many cemeteries. In various cemeteries around the world, there are stone chairs called devil's chairs. These chairs were often used by mourners to sit and grieve, but legends and superstitions have given them a sinister reputation. Some stories claim that if you sit in one at midnight, the devil himself will appear. You are more likely to be bitten by someone in New York City than you are to be bitten by a shark. There could be someone secretly living in your wall or attic without you even knowing it. It's called frogging, and people say that it's becoming more and more common. So if you hear strange noises, notice things missing or moved, or your box of Frosted Flakes cereal is all of a sudden empty, there could be a frogger living in your home. Here's what some of the most...
I didn't even know that was an actual term, but froggers, that's actually one of my worst fears ever, man. That's like, imagine somebody in your own space and you have no idea. Gotta pay attention, man. And that fir tree going inside that person, I would have said that's impossible, man, but we just saw it. What do you know?
Most famous monsters actually are the chupacabra. The goat griefing livestock leech believed to be first seen in Puerto Rico was more than
Likely a dog with a severe case of mange, and that's when mites burrow into the skin and basically cause parasitic alopecia. Bigfoot, different animals, same beast, or whatever it was Kobe said. Anyway, it was probably a mangy bear. Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. What the hell mange does? Coke Bear done graduated to meth? I don't mean numbers. The Loch Ness Monster. There have been many theories, but what's most likely was probably just an escaped circus elephant with trunks out like Dragon Ball. For centuries, there have been stories of killer cyclops, a one-eyed op to humanity. Whole time, someone probably just found an expired elephant skull in an Olympic long jump to a conclusion. And last, almost every sea monster story you've ever heard was probably just some whale freeing his willy. That's exactly what you think it is, the more you know.
Here's how Area 51 became the center for alien conspiracy theories. In 1989, a man named Bob Lazar claimed that he had worked at a facility near Area 51 known as S4. According to Lazar, the facility was being used to reverse engineer alien technology recovered from crashed UFOs. Lazar's claims were highly controversial, and many people dismissed him as a hoaxer. However, his story only served to fuel the already existing rumors of alien activity at Area 51. Since then, countless conspiracy theories have emerged about what's really going on at Area 51. Some people believe that the government is hiding evidence of extraterrestrial life, while others think that the base is being used to develop top-secret weapons and technology.
What do you guys think?
That's what Mordecai said. Take that back, Rigby. And they started fighting, and it didn't take long for them to bump into a microwave which took them up into space. And while in space, the argument still continued. You're over here turning on me, Mordecai, but I'm your bro. I'm just looking out for you. That's what Mordecai said. I don't care. I've been trying to get with Margaret for years, and yet every time she turns me down. And next thing you know, Mordecai pushes Rigby off, killing Rigby. That's when Mordecai says, wait, no! But the damage was already done, and Rigby's funeral went down the following week. Mordecai killed his best friend, and he disintegrated into the abyss, all because he was a simp.
He couldn't take that L, bro. It drove him insane. What the hell? I can't believe that freaking aired. That was on like Cartoon Network too. Might have to check. We're gonna have to review that episode, man. See if it's legit.
Who eat humans. Komodo dragon. Piranhas. Crocodiles. Jaguars. African driver ant.
African driver ants eat humans?
Bear. Lion. Catfish.
Catfish eat humans now? What the hell?
Tiger. Cheetah. Hyenas. Shark. Dog.
Dogs too? What the hell?
Polar bear.
This is part 2 of the crime scene
That
photos
shocked me.
released from the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case, revolving around the murder of her mom, Dee Dee. This is another photo that was taken inside the house. You can see that the kitchen is absolutely trashed. This is inside their living room. Again, literally trash everywhere. This next one, please, if you're squeamish, look away. Okay, I cropped the photo, but basically her mom was found in this pink bedsheet. I'm covering a lot of, She was found laying on her stomach with stab wounds all over her body and a huge gash mark on her neck. Again, those photos are literally online where you see everything. I cropped this one again, but this is the crime scene bit. This half, it was just all blood and a wrapped body. I know a lot of you are really curious and you want to see these photos, but they are very dark and gruesome. Even photos of Dee Dee nude from the waist down. It was a very dark and gruesome murder.
Cursed games you should never play. Part 24.
Dark case.
Blue baby, baby blue. Begin at night. Go into a bathroom and turn off all the lights. Then lock the door behind you and face the mirror. As you're looking into the mirror, position your arms as though you're cradling a baby. While doing this, chant the phrase blue baby, baby blue 13 times. As you do this, you'll feel the weight in your arms begin to grow. and at some point you'll start to feel scratching on your arms. Once you feel the scratching, immediately drop the baby in the toilet, flush it, unlock the door, and leave. If you're alive, you won. But there are two possible losing conditions. The lesser of two being the scratching in your arms becoming unbearable, or the second one being a woman appearing in the mirror. She will demand her baby back and probably kill you.
I never play those type of
These are
games.
scary cartoon
Never.
truths that would terrify you. Part 12. Okay, so Talking Angela started as a mobile phone app for a lot of children. Angela is a white cat with blue eyes who has conversations with you and could answer any question you ask. But recently, Talking Angela turned into an app to spy on young children. It is said the app was taken over by a creepy man or a very creepy group. It's said that if you're over 18, nothing happens. But if you're younger than that, the cat will then start asking you very weird questions. Like, where do you live, what is your name, and what are your parents' names? The creepy man or group are able to take pictures of you through your own phone. Also, if you zoom in on Angela's eye, you can see a man watching you. And if that's not scary enough, a young boy named Eli went missing shortly after downloading the app, and he was never found.
Hey man, that's how you gotta freaking, you have to know what type of apps you download, man, especially when it comes to these kids' apps, because they just use as a cover for something else, man. Like a simple kids app, bro. You think talking to a cat, you wouldn't think nothing of it. It's like it's the perfect cover, seekers. We learning out here. Got it. Call it like I see it.
Every time I go to chase it, it runs. I don't think it's a good idea I chase it anymore. You might think I'm playing with him. Every time. I see him, but I'm not gonna act like I see him. I see him right there ducking. Oh, what the hell is wrong with his head?
I see that too.
Why does he look like that? I want to try to zoom. Oh my god, why does he look like that?
All of the Rugrats are
Oh.
a part of Angelica's imagination. They aren't real. None of them? Chucky died in the same accident that his mom died. And that's why his dad is always so nervous and freaking out, because he has to deal with it. What about Tommy? Well, Tommy was a stillborn. And that's why Stu goes down into the basement late at night, making toys for the son he wish he had. That's why he's always depressed.
What are you doing?
Making chocolate pudding.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth are you making chocolate pudding?
Because I've lost control of my life.
And the twins ended up being a miscarriage. It was early in the pregnancy, so Angelica didn't know if it was going to be a boy or a girl, so she just imagined both. What about Susie? Susie is real and going along with all of Angelica's crazy imaginations because it's her only friend. She tries to make her happy at times. But the one baby that is real is Dill. Dill goes against Angelica's crazy imagination and doesn't do what she expects. And that's why Angelica freaks out on Dill all the time and gets so upset.
Rugrats, man, they weren't real the whole time? Show that there to a couple of people, their minds gonna be blown. The hell? The hell?
The reason I had to move out of my flat.
Okay.
I was home alone.
The hell is that? It's staring at her, and the dogs can see it too. It's like the dog can sense it. If you know that ain't your mom, don't open it up. lock the door.
Then what's your name then?
Yeah, what the hell? She was right now opening up that door. That was a creepy one. For sure.
This teenager became concerned for her ex and tried to help him. Little did she know she was about to be brutally killed. Lauren Astley was 18 years old from Wayland, Massachusetts. She began dating Nathaniel Fujita when the pair were in high school together. Nathaniel was a popular football player. The pair were described as being quite on and off. On the 1st of April 2011, she decided to end the relationship with Nathaniel. However, it did not go down very well at all, and his friends reported that he became depressed and withdrawn. He stopped doing things he used to enjoy doing, and he just didn't seem to care about life anymore. In summer 2011, the pair attended the same graduation party. It was reported that at the party, Nathaniel got quite jealous of when Lauren was talking to other boys. Nathaniel got quite drunk, and Lauren's mum was actually at the party, and Lauren ran up to her crying. She said that Nathaniel wouldn't leave her alone and was harassing her. Now, Nathaniel got so angry at this party that he punched the tent that everybody was in and caused it to collapse.
Damn.
He was then asked to leave the party. It was reported that Nathaniel started drinking quite heavily and becoming even more depressed. His mum actually got so worried about him that she reached out to Lauren. She asked Lauren if she could help and maybe speak to him, and Lauren agreed because she was concerned. Lauren agreed to chat to him and meet him at his house on the 3rd of July 2011. Tragically, she had no idea she would not leave the house alive. She texted him stating here and entered the house at approximately 7:05 p.m. Nathaniel lured her into the garage, slit her throat and strangled her with a bungee cord. He then drove her car to Town Beach and disposed of the keys down a drain. After running home, he put her body in his car and dumped her in a secluded area nearby. Obviously, Lauren's family got really concerned when she didn't get home. Nathaniel, as obviously the last person she was meeting up with, was reported as a suspect. Police found bloodstains in his garage and a big bag full of clothes soaked in blood. Lauren's body was found not long after. Nathaniel's defense in court stated that he was suffering a massive depressive episode and therefore should not be held criminally responsible.
Really?
However, luckily he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. People are calling this case the Incest House of Horrors. This case comes with just about the biggest trigger warning for the most horrific things you could hear. It was October 2023 in the quiet Polish village called Koniki. An arrest was about to happen which would shake the small community. The true horrors of what had been going on under everyone's noses were absolutely chilling. Piotr Girasik was 54 years old. He and his wife Hannah had had a staggering 12 children together. Hannah had passed away 15 years prior, leaving Piotr to look after the children on his own. Now, the house that he lived in was far from ideal for such a huge family. Locals were also often concerned about hearing cries and screaming from inside the home. They knew Piotr had a close relationship with his 20-year-old daughter, Paulina, but they had no idea just how disturbing things were getting inside the home. That was until local workers at a cake shop nearby tipped off social services. They had serious concerns about what was going on in the property, and they were right to be worried. When officers arrived at the home, they could smell something absolutely potent. Upon closer inspection of the property, they found decomposing, dead babies in the basement. 2 of the tiny bodies were wrapped in plastic bags, and one was just lying on the floor. Now, at the time of the discovery, Piotr wasn't actually living in this house with all 12 of his children. Some had escaped. He was living in the house with his daughter Paulina and his disabled son Damien. It would later be revealed that sometimes Damien was seen sat outside the house crying. He told officers that his dad would have S with his sister, so the dad's daughter, and regularly chase Damien out the house and beat him when he wanted to do this. Damien was abused and was given little more than cold rice to live off. Horrifically, police discovered that the deceased babies in the basement were actually the product of incest. The 3 babies found in the cellar were believed to have been killed just after they were born. Frustratingly, Piotr had actually been on the radar of police. He'd been investigated 5 times over allegations of incest. He was arrested finally by police, and his daughter Paulina was also arrested. Thankfully, many of Peter's children had managed to flee, and his one daughter, Cassia, referred to him as a monster. He's now facing charges of murder, incest, and
being murdered because of it. Well, that's what happened to 56-year-old Maria Coto after visiting a client at an apartment building in Westchester. Maria was a caseworker for the county's Department of Social Services and was conducting home visits when she accidentally knocked on 31-year-old Hasim Jenkins' front door. When he answered the door, instead of directing Maria to the correct apartment, he punched her in the face. Maria tried running from him, but he chased her into a neighbor's apartment and he continued to kick her in the head with a pair of heavy boots. Somehow, while this was all going on, she managed to call 911, but when police arrived, Hasim claimed that Maria tried to stab him and that's why he beat her. But that never happened. She only knocked on his door because she thought that was her client's home. This poor lady suffered severe brain bleeding, brain swelling, and multiple facial fractures. She was placed on a ventilator, but unfortunately, she passed away a month later. When Hasim was arrested, Maria's phone was found in his pocket, and now he's facing a long list of charges, including second-degree murder. And something her family said, which is so sad, is that this all happened the year before Maria planned to retire.
If you ever feel like someone's watching you, they probably are. This, my friends, is the Dark Watchers. Click the plus, drop a like, tag a friend, or they might find you. It is said that the Dark Watchers' faces have never been seen before. They make no noise and have never talked to anybody. But as soon as they have you in their sights, you're done for. My question to you guys is, would you still go outside?
The Dark Watchers? Hell no. I'm more vigilant.
This incestuous family took the lives of over 1,000 people. This is the true story of Wrong Turn. In the 16th century, a man named Sawney Bean decided to run away with his girlfriend to the shores of Galloway County in Scotland, where he began living in a cave, surviving by stealing food and belongings from passing tourists. Sawney Bean and his wife had children with whom they committed incest. This family began to grow, as they all had relationships with each other. Sawney Bean's clan grew to 48 people, and what they stole was no longer enough to eat. The Bean family began to take the lives of people who passed near their cave, and then eat them. For 25 years, this family survived doing this savage activity, until one day a couple was attacked by the Bean family, but the man managed to defend himself with a gun, but his wife did not survive. The man had discovered the cave of the Bean clan, so he decided to report it to the authorities. After that, the soldiers of the King of Scotland went to the cave where they captured the whole family, and then they were condemned to be burned at the stake.
Russ McKamey from McKamey Manor, one of America's most infamous haunted house attractions, was just arrested. So if you don't know Russ McKamey, this is a long, dark rabbit hole. Basically, he runs an attraction called McKamey Manor. This is run on his property, out of his house, and it has been billed as the most extreme horror experience you could possibly put yourself through. Basically, when you sign up for this, you sign your life away. Inside of this attraction, where you go on your own personal tour, they abuse people, they subject them to horrific mental torture, they force them to eat things, injure them, and do all sorts of just horrific stuff.
Not for me.
So for years, people have been questioning how this whole thing is legal, because it really does sit on the very edge of what's legal and what's illegal when it comes to physical abuse and harm. But just a few days ago, Russ McKamey, the guy that owns and operates this place, was arrested. But it wasn't for charges based on his haunted house attraction.
Whoa.
He has actually been charged with second-degree attempted murder. These charges are coming from Russ's ex-girlfriend, who's claiming that he tried to kill her on multiple occasions. And the arrest affidavit even states that at one point Russ allegedly strangled her out of consciousness. And on Friday, July 19th, which would be the second time that he did so. So we're going to see how this case plays out. I will keep y'all updated. But this is shocking news. I mean, I've followed this story for almost 10 years now. I've always thought what he was doing was extremely bizarre and disturbing. Especially the fact that he films all of these tortures, these legal tortures, and sells them to people online. Which is just an even more disturbing element to me, that there are people out there that purchase this stuff and probably get off on it. But yeah, what do you think about McKamey Manor? Let me know in the comment section below.
They need to shut that place down, bro. I don't sound like a freaking haunted house. That just sounds like a damn torture chamber. And he's selling those videos online to make them profit. The signs are all right there. Just have to pay attention. Edit. Call him when we see it.
Creepiest home camera footage. In 2017, a mother in Billings, Montana woke up in the middle of the night to a notification on her phone. Her phone was synced to a baby monitor she had set up in her infant daughter's room. On this night, upon being alerted, she opened the app expecting to see her daughter awake in the crib. But instead she saw this. A man she didn't know is seen crouched down in the room. She saw this and ran to the room to retrieve her daughter and run out the house. She didn't see anyone in the room, but wasn't exactly looking. When she called the cops, they arrived and conducted a search of the home, but didn't find anything. A very odd detail is that it was found that nothing but the remote to a dog shock collar was stolen from the house. Who this man is and how he got in the house is still unknown.
So someone was definitely there.
This is a scary story about the mistake. A girl named Kelly was on a business trip for 3 days, and she was so excited to see her husband and kid. But when she got home, the only one that was waiting for her was her kid. Kelly then asked, "Where's Daddy?" and her kid then said, "Upstairs with a girl." Kelly immediately got a pit in her stomach and walked up the stairs slowly, and then opened their bedroom door and saw her husband in there with another girl. Kelly started to scream and cry, and her husband tried to explain himself. But Kelly wasn't listening at all. And in a pit of rage, Kelly went down to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. She then went back into the room and stabbed her husband countless times. The other woman in the room was shocked and completely lost for words. Kelly then pointed the knife at her and said, "You're next." But then the woman said, "Wait, he wasn't cheating on you. He thought you weren't going to be home till tomorrow, and I'm a party planner. And he hired me to set up and throw a party for you." The woman then showed Kelly the idea her husband had. Kelly then dropped the knife and couldn't believe what she just did. Kelly then went downstairs, grabbed her kid, and left. And to this day, nobody has ever seen Kelly or her kid again.
Scary
Is that a
facts
true
you'll
story?
think about at night. All the
Scary.
lizards squirt blood from their eyes. The Devil's Bible is a real book. If the sun exploded, you would not know about it for 8 minutes. 20% of children report hearing voices.
Scary facts you wish you never.
Okay.
There's a shack called the Devil's Toy Box in Louisiana, and for some reason, people who go in lose their minds. You know the tingly feeling you get when you eat a pineapple? Well, that's because the pineapple is eating you. It has an enzyme called bromelain, and that enzyme eats meat, which you're made of. I'm gonna stick to watermelon. No one can comment on this video and get 0 likes. Sharks have been around for 420 million years, meaning they have survived all 4 big mass extinctions, making them older than dinosaurs, Mount Everest, and even some trees on this planet. Yet we could potentially see them go extinct in our lifetime. The person who invented homework came up with the idea as a punishment for his students. Now you can check if your phone activity is being monitored. Just click on share, slide all the way to the end, click more, and if any apps appear before your contacts, you should delete it immediately. This is a photo of Lyndon B. Johnson. In it, he's being sworn as president, just 2 hours after JFK was unalived. And the woman he's standing next to is Jackie Kennedy, who still had her husband's blood on her shirt. Lyndon B. Johnson turned to his friend, Albert Thompson, while Albert smirked and winked back. The photographer who captured the picture called the photo completely sinister. Doja Cat scares me. Studies show that people who like and follow me get smarter every day.
That thing with bromine, man, about eating pineapples, I know like a couple of y'all had that feeling, you know, you eat pineapples, you feel something on your tongue. I was like, I've always wanted to know, like, why did that happen after eating a couple pieces of pineapple? And we know the pineapple was eating me back, bro. Learned some wild facts today, man.
Things that bother you, they never bother me.
Oh, some stuff went back down back in the day.
Probably didn't know about.
Oh, what the hell? Is that a skinwalker or something? We definitely heard that. What the hell is There ain't no damn dog. Okay. That one might be netted. I'm gonna have to go cap on that last one.
Creepiest things found in movie backgrounds. In the movie It, when Ben is reading about Derry's past in the library, the elder librarian can be seen in the background turning towards him and staring at him with a deeply unsettling grin. She remains out of focus the whole time, and the movie never highlights her creepy behavior. In the movie Hereditary, when Peter wakes up in the darkened and eerily silent house, you can spot his possessed mom hovering in the corner of the ceiling and staring at him. When he turns towards the corner she is at, she is then seen crawling away in the other direction without making a sound. In the movie Insidious, Renee spots a little ghost boy through the window dancing to Tiptoe Through the Tulips. But the ghost can actually be seen before Renee spots him dancing. Right in this scene when she tosses clothes in the laundry hamper. You can see the boy standing just to her left and facing the wall.
You watched Longlegs, but you didn't quite get it. Let me help you. The movie centers entirely around the Book of Revelation, also known as the Book of the Apocalypse. And throughout the movie, Michael Monroe's character repeats a chapter of the book. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. The Unholy Trinity is made up of 3 main characters: the dragon, the beast of the sea, and the beast of the earth. This makes up a triangle, which we see Harker draw in the film, but also in the Book of Revelation, we learn that the devil's number is 666, which is why the birthday unalivings happen within 6 days of the kids' birthdays. The dragon, also known as the serpent, is Satan, and this is why we see flashes of snakes throughout the film. The beast of the sea is also known as the Antichrist, which is Longlegs. The beast of the earth is also known as the false prophet, which is Harker's mom. The Antichrist needed help from the false prophet to spread his message, which is what we see in the movie where Longlegs needed Ruth's help to spread the message. In the Book of Revelation, it states that the false prophet is allowed to give breath to the image of the beast being the dolls. And the quote continues to say, so that the image of the beast can even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. This is why the dolls have the little silver ball in their head, because it holds parts of the Antichrist in them, and the dolls and the ball are able to speak to the families. And if they didn't worship the beast, then they'd be... Since we learned that Harker's doll is still alive and holding the Antichrist in it, this is why Harker has somewhat of that sixth sense throughout the film when she's being drawn to Longlegs and why she hears like whispering throughout the movie, because it's still able to speak to her. And at the end of the movie, we see that Harker didn't get rid of the image of the beast, so we can assume that the Antichrist is still somewhat alive and well, and at the end, maybe this is setting up a possible sequel.
Top 5 countries with the longest school days. Australia, 6.5 hours. France, 8 hours. South Korea, 8 hours. Kenya, 8 hours. China, 9.5 hours.
Could you guys imagine, man, being in school for 9.5 hours, bro? I remember when I was complaining about the freaking my school hours, man, but I couldn't survive 9.5 hours in school, bro. I couldn't.
Last words of Satanists before dying. Aleister Crowley. I am perplexed. Anton Lavey. Oh my, what have I done? There is something very wrong. David Hume. I am in flames. Voltaire. I am abandoned by God and man. I will give you half of what I am worth if you give me 6 months of life. Sir Francis Newport. Oh, that fire. Oh, the insufferable pangs of hell. Thomas Paine. Stay with me, for God's sake. I can't bear to be left alone. Oh, Lord, help me.
Ooh.
This is a scary story about Do Not Open.
Creepy last
There was an
words.
18-year-old girl named Mia who was in her first year of college. She lived alone in an apartment near her university. One night when she was doing the dishes, she got a call from her friend Pete. She picked it up and he said, "I'm bored, I want to hang out." Mia said, "Yeah, me too, come over." Pete then said he'll be over in 15 to 20 minutes. She then hung up and decided to take a shower. Mia was in the middle of shampooing her hair when she suddenly heard a loud banging on the door. She stuck her head out of the shower and said, "Come in, it's open." But a few minutes later, the banging on the door started again. She then stuck her head out of the shower again and said, "Come in, it's not locked." Just then, her phone started to ring, and it was Peter. Mia said, "I'm in the shower, why don't you stop knocking and just come in?" Peter's voice sounded extremely scared, and he said, "Do not open the door." Mia said, "Why not?" "I'm outside your apartment building," whispered Peter. "And I just saw a strange woman coming up the stairs to your apartment covered in blood and holding a knife. And she was smiling weirdly and didn't look human at all."
The term "saved by the bell" is a harmless way to describe that you barely made it through a situation. Let's talk about the terrifying history of the term "saved by the bell." Epilepsy is a medical condition where an individual experiences an uncontrolled amount of muscle rigidity and unresponsiveness. What's terrifying is family members would think that their loved one had passed and put them in a coffin, however, they were still very much alive. After having multiple people buried alive, they invented a casket where a bell was hooked on the inside of it. Once the individual who was buried in a coffin snapped out of their coma-like state, they could ring the bell and pray that someone was nearby to hear them.
Saved by the bell. Now we've heard that before.
Top 5 countries with the most civilian firearms by estimated number in possession. Russia 17.6 million, Pakistan 43.9 million, China 49.7 million, India 71.1 million, United States 393.3 million.
That's a big number.
Facts that are absolutely shocking. BT.3. In the John Wayne Gacy case, there were so many bodies crammed underneath the house that the bodies melted together, and the bones had to be sorted for more than 2 years to put together the full skeletons. Pee Wee Gaskins, the most prolific serial killer in South Carolina, drove around in a hearse with a bumper sticker that read, "I hold dead people." He told people that he needed it to take the bodies of people he killed in his private cemetery. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't eat people with tattoos because he said the ink made the flesh taste weird.
Weird facts, man. First one was chilling, bro. That they freaking melted together, man. Whew.
The most dangerous dates in 2024.
Talk about it.
Rainbow sky, January 6th. Very cold day, negative 99 degrees.
Damn.
January 17th. Huge moon, January 29th. Blue moon, February 11th.
Okay.
Red yellow moon, February 25th. Lunar eclipse, March 10th. Spring thunderstorm, March 22nd. Starfall, April 5th. Bloody rain, April 16th. Star rain, May 4th. Blood moon, May 14th. Super moon, May 26th. Abnormal heat, 45 degrees, June 7th. Severe thunderstorm, June 15th. Shower from June 19th to June 22nd. Yellow moon, June 29th. Terrible thunderstorm, July 3rd. Severe thunderstorm with hail on July 11th.
Just natural disasters?
This horror game used your webcam and social media profiles in order to create your own personal horror, but it no longer exists. Let's talk about Asylum 626.
Okay.
More obscure horror games right here. Asylum 626 is the sequel to Hotel 626, and this one is even more ambitious. And yes, this was also a game to promote 2 new Doritos flavors that they were bringing back. Before playing, the game actually has you log into your Facebook profile, and it uses it in a pretty interesting way. The game will show you an image of 2 people tied up with 2 photos next to each person. And each of these photos are pictures of your friends from your Facebook profile. You basically have to choose which friend gets tortured in the asylum. There's also a jump scare scene where you have to look deep in a dirty sink, and it will actually show your webcam image as the reflection in the water. The game would also make an actual post on your Facebook page alerting which friend you chose to be tortured in the asylum. It was actually pretty interesting. It's really a shame we can't play Hotel 626 or Asylum 626 anymore. Let's talk about the...
What the hell happened to those games, man? Why did they just suddenly disappear off the net? They were used to promote Doritos. Very weird, man.
Lore behind the disturbing god from fear and hunger, the Tormented One. More unique horror games right here. Before he was one of the new gods, the Tormented One used to be a man. In fact, he was a poet who had a great reverence for the arts. However, he believed that truly beautiful art could only be created through pain and suffering, and he kept those same ideals when he completed his journey to become a god. He kept his body in a state of constant torture on purpose. However, he did not only apply these ideals to himself. This is the Red Man, and he's an example of a creature that was tortured by the Tormented One for over 100 years straight. In-game, he's barely able to crawl towards you by the time you see him. Quick fact, the rings you see around the Tormented One are actually based on some rings that you see in the final boss room of Silent Hill 4.
Horses are much bigger than people, so naturally they just have a lot more blood than we do. So whenever horses get nosebleeds, it ends up looking like a whole crime scene. So one of the only reasons we know how many people died in the Titanic are the shoes that are laying on the ocean floor. Some are pretty cool, others are kind of depressing. And the reason we count the shoes instead of, bones is because when the Titanic hit the floor, all the corpses kind of just scattered and the fish ate the corpses, but the fish couldn't eat the shoes. If you ever decide to go climb Mount Everest, I hope that you remember that the crevices in the ice are V-shaped, which means if you were to ever accidentally fall down one, you more than likely wouldn't die instantly. Your body heat would melt the ice around you, causing you to slip further and further down until your chest couldn't expand enough to breathe. So make sure you bring a friend just as crazy as you to help get you out.
If the bone of the leg breaks and shatters completely, here's how doctors fix it. Let's find out. First, the person is anesthetized to prevent pain. The doctor makes an incision over the leg at the location of the break, then extracts the entire bone. Holes are made above the knee and on the side of the leg, and then an intramedullary rod is inserted between the bones in such a manner. Subsequently, this intramedullary rod is fixed with metal in a way that it does not move. Afterward, a hole is made above the bone and a wire is threaded through it. Then a tourniquet circular friction lathe machine is attached over the leg, and these wires are connected to it. This machine has 2 bolts on the sides, which function like buttons. When these are turned, the machine starts to separate the bones. Thus, bones that had been misaligned and entangled due to the injury are separated and straightened with the help of this machine. And within a few days, the bone starts to heal.
Weird process, man. I can't even imagine having to go through that. Rod in your leg.
This is insane. The big Texan. These are scary cartoon truths that would terrify you.
Texan?
Part 10. Okay, so Hello Kitty was created back in the 1970s by a Chinese woman whose daughter had cancer. The doctors told the mother there was nothing she could do, and her daughter will die. The mother then went to every church and prayed for her daughter, but none of it worked. The mother then became very desperate and turned to devil worshipping and satanic rituals. She then made a pact with the devil himself. But if the devil cured her daughter's cancer, he wanted one thing in return. He wanted her to create a cartoon character to appeal to children all over the world and to trick people into worshipping the devil. And when her daughter recovered from cancer, she kept her promise and created Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty is no mouth because her daughter had mouth cancer. Her pointy ears represent the devil's horns. The word kitty means demon in Chinese, so Hello Kitty actually means hello demon.
The more you know, man. Made a deal with the devil.
Strange insectoid creatures were scattered across large segments of Chicago's oldest sewer system. They were forming true nests of creatures that had never seen the light of day, feeding on waste, moisture, and in ways that have not been possible to determine.
Is this an edit, y'all? I think we're gonna have to go with edit. Because we definitely would have seen something, right? Heard about it.
The following records revealed the presence of hyperdeveloped creatures inhabiting the tunnels. Contact with these creatures was mostly through probes with cameras, although on some occasions.
So about
I'm gonna have to go cap on that one.
3 little girls were murdered in a dance class by a teenager, and 10 others were injured. Of course, that teenager was arrested, but official sources never identified who this guy is exactly. There were several protests and riots in the UK across several cities in the country, and there was a mosque that was destroyed and burned down as a form of revenge because of what happened in Southport. About 1 day later after this incident, the government, the media, and the police have officially identified who the killer is. He's a teenager named Axel Rudakubana from Rwanda. That is a Christian, not a Muslim, a Christian. Are you gonna burn down a church now that you know he's a Christian? Is that the natural response we as people should have? Official sources confirmed who's the person behind this misinformation. And let me tell you, this is how dangerous misinformation can be. It can lead you to do the wrong things. The person behind this misinformation is Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is an anti-Islam activist. Most of the biggest platform he has is on X, Twitter. That was where he tweeted that this guy, the murderer, was a Muslim. And you know, because of his contribution to this information, these riots happened. And innocent people were injured. And a mosque was burned down. I'm not sure if it was one or more than one. To be honest, I don't even know the guy. I just heard of him today from an official news site that said Tommy Robinson was the main contributor to the misinformation that led to these riots. People are so gullible, really. Like, I mean this with no offense, but you guys are. And it's really bad.
Deserved a bigger tip. A pregnant woman was almost stabbed to death because she tipped the delivery driver $2. Melinda Irizarry, her boyfriend, and 5-year-old daughter were at a hotel in Kissimmee, Florida, celebrating her 5th birthday when they decided to order some pizza. The delivery driver, 22-year-old Brianna Alvello, was not too happy when she received a $2 tip. She left, but then came back a little later, but this time with a man, and they were both wearing black, and when they went inside the motel, they attacked Melinda. The man brought the boyfriend into the bathroom, and Brianna began stabbing Melinda while Melinda protected her 5-year-old daughter. Melinda was stabbed a total of 14 times to her arms, chest, legs, and stomach. Luckily, Melinda survived, and when she was at the hospital, she found out that she was pregnant. To try to murder someone over a tip?
People who survived unsurvivable things. Romil Broom. He survived the electric chair.
Damn, how many times he went?
Tsutomu Yomaguchi. He survived 2 atomic bombs.
That has to be the luckiest
Dick
man alive.
Survived the Titanic. Jacob Miller. He got shot between the eyes and survived. Jumiso Mona. This man fought with a leopard and killed it. Alison Botha. She survived being kidnapped and beheaded.
What the heck?
These conjoined brothers who are attached at the hip do not want to be separated. Shivanath and Shivram Sahu are conjoined twins from India who are attached at the waist. The twins share 2 legs and 4 arms, but have separate hearts and brains, and despite sharing a body, they actually live a pretty normal life. They're able to shower, eat, and dress themselves, and they even found out a way to ride their bike to school together. However, life is about to get a lot more complicated for the twins, as doctors say they can't actually be separated. If they tried to, the weaker one, Shivanath, would most likely die. Shivram, the stronger one, would most likely retain both legs and live a normal life. But the twins say even if they could afford the surgery, they wouldn't do it. Because any challenge they face in life, they want to face together.
That's true brotherhood right there, man. And its purest
Disney
form.
characters that existed in real life. The Red Queen, Alice in Wonderland. Queen Elizabeth I.
Facts you wish you never knew. We eat about 2 pounds of flies, maggots, and other bugs each year without knowing. Hold up. The cheese in fast food restaurants are loaded with so many artificial chemicals that it's barely cheese you're eating. In 2004, an Iranian girl became disfigured and blind after a man threw acid on her face for rejecting his marriage proposal. The law wanted to make him pay money and give him jail time, but the girl pleaded with the courts to drop 20 drops of acid on his eyes instead. The courts ended up agreeing with her punishment. Not a single comment on this video has 0 likes. In 2021, a 41-year-old man named Jerry Smith was posing as a woman on Tinder named Angie Renee. He then matched with 18-year-old football player Isimemen Itut. After they met up and did the nasty, Itut realized that Angie was actually a man. That's when he stomped and beat the man to death. Last year, he was acquitted of all murder charges. There are thousands of old diseases frozen in the glaciers of the world, and global warming will eventually release them all. Cell phones are 10 times dirtier than a toilet seat. An octopus is so flexible that it is capable of entering through your mouth, traveling through your digestive tract, and coming out your booty hole. Should I do a part 6?
I'm gonna call cap on the last part. Can an octopus really do that? I know they're flexible and all, but coming out your butthole? What the hell? I can't believe that, boy. The hotel?
Disturbing facts that may ruin your day. You are the oldest that you have ever been and the youngest that you will ever be. Your bed absorbs 26 gallons of your sweat every year. There are 15 dead people for every 1 person alive. Science can't measure exactly how strong a gorilla is, so there's no sure way on how to contain them. The gorilla enclosures at zoos are just based on trust. Every 18 minutes, someone in the United States has a brain aneurysm that ruptures. Vampire moths are real and can feed on the blood of humans. A jar of peanut butter contains 10 or more rodent hairs and can contain up to hundreds of insect fragments. Big Bird almost joined NASA's Challenger mission to help kids become more interested in space. Millions of kids would have watched Big Bird and the Challenger space shuttle explode on live television. Follow for more.
That truly saved them. Imagine that. I mean, Sesame Street.
3 completely false facts about animals that everyone believes. Number 3. It is commonly believed that if you touch a baby bird, its mother will reject it because of your scent. This is actually a myth. Most birds have a relatively weak sense of smell, and are therefore not likely to reject their offspring because they carry a human odor. However, it is better not to touch wild birds for other reasons, including the risk of stressing the animal and the transmission of diseases. Number 2. Another widely spread myth is that rice thrown at weddings can kill birds that eat it by causing their stomach to swell. This is actually false. Birds regularly eat rice in the wild with no problem. This misconception is so prevalent that some American states have even banned the throwing of rice at weddings, although the main reason is rather to avoid a mess. Number 1. The idea that pit bulls are inherently dangerous and harmful is widespread but incorrect. In reality, no dog is naturally aggressive or dangerous. A dog's behavior is primarily determined by its upbringing, treatment, and environment, not its breed. Studies have shown that pit bulls can be as gentle and loving as any other dog breed when they are properly socialized and treated with respect.
Dirty animal facts that biology class definitely didn't teach you. Part 1. Diego, the unstoppable sex tortoise who is 100 years old, lives on the Galapagos archipelago and has fathered over 800 tortoises. When a male anglerfish meets a female, he fuses with her body, donating his brain, heart, and eyes, pretty much becoming a pair of testicles dangling from her body. Hey darling, nice testes. In 1912, biologists had to cover up the first published studies of penguins after observing them being the literal worst. Male on male penguin action, male on dead penguin action, male on unwilling female penguin action. Oh, and action in exchange for pebbles. If Finding Nemo was scientifically accurate, Marlin would have just changed into a female clownfish and mated with Nemo after his mother's death. Nemo! Oh, and, fish don't talk, but more importantly, the whole changing into a...
Yeah, that fact's garbage.
3 true stories behind popular myths. Part 2. Number 3. The Lost City of Atlantis. While Atlantis is a myth created by the ancient philosopher Plato, many believe it was inspired by real ancient civilizations. These civilizations were advanced for their time and later disappeared under mysterious circumstances. One such civilization is the Minoan civilization on the island of Crete. The Minoans were known for their advanced architecture, art, and maritime power, much like the description of Atlantis. The myth of Atlantis continues to fascinate us, a testament to our enduring fascination with lost civilizations and hidden knowledge. Number 2. The Bermuda Triangle. The myth of ships and planes mysteriously disappearing in the Bermuda Triangle has a basis in truth. This area, located in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean, is known for its unpredictable weather and strong currents. These factors have contributed to numerous accidents over the years, leading to the area's ominous reputation. While the Bermuda Triangle is not officially recognized by the US government or any international geographic organization, its legend persists in popular culture. Number 1. The Legend of Dracula. The infamous vampire Dracula was inspired by a real person, Vlad the Impaler. Vlad was a 15th century ruler of Wallachia, a region in modern-day Romania, known for his brutal and ruthless tactics. However, the vampire attributes associated with Dracula were added later through folklore and literature. Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula solidified the connection between Vlad and the vampire legend, creating one of the most iconic figures in horror literature.
Truly did, man. He influenced his...
Scary fact you wish you never knew. Olivia Farnsworth was 7 years old when she got hit by a car. She was then dragged 100 feet and felt nothing. This is because she's the only person in the world diagnosed with chromosome 6 deletion, which means she doesn't feel pain, hunger, or the need to sleep. This is a Buddha monk in Thailand. He's 109 years old. He was born in 1913. Only 1% of people can do this. None of you could completely spell your name one word at a time in the comments without being interrupted. Let's see who wins first this time. This watermelon tastes like your mama's booty. This isn't scary, but it's scary fast. In 1945, the US government injected 18 people with dangerous radioactive plutonium. Oh, and they did it without them knowing, just to see how their bodies would react. They ended up not admitting this until 1995. It was announced the day of the O.J. Simpson trial, so that it wouldn't receive any media attention. Makes you wonder what else the government has done secretly and hasn't decided to tell us yet, until another distraction comes. Now you can check if your phone activity is being monitored. Just click share, slide to the very end, click more, and if any unknown apps appear before your contacts, you should delete them immediately. In 2012, Anthony Hansley was kayaking in Illinois when a swan came and attacked him and became very aggressive. He fell out the kayak and decided to swim to shore, but the swan kept attacking him while he was swimming, causing him to sadly drown. If you like and follow my page, you'll become smarter every day.
What they do to the freaking swan? Those swans were known as peaceful birds, man. That swan was on something that day. I don't know what. You spitting facts though, man. We learned some interesting things.
Imagine going to a family Christmas dinner and almost everyone dies from poisoning. This woman tried to kill her husband's entire family by giving them a cake she baked that was laced with arsenic. 3 family members passed away, 3 others were hospitalized, and this woman who poisoned everyone ended up on December 23rd when 42-year-old Diaz Mora baked a cake and invited her husband's entire family over. That evening, they began cutting the cake that they would normally eat on Christmas Eve, and almost everyone complained about the taste and that it tasted a little weird. But they still ate a significant amount of cake, and almost everyone felt sick right away, and 3 people died right then and there. Investigators tested all the ingredients in the house and found that the flour used in the cake was laced with arsenic. But what's absolutely crazy is that a couple of months earlier, Diaz's father-in-law also suddenly died, and they exhumed his body and found high levels of poison. So they think that she also took his life. Now, you guys are probably wondering, well, what was the motive? Why did she do this? At first, the family didn't understand what caused her to commit this crime, but then they thought about it and they remembered a disagreement they had 20 years ago. 20 years ago, and they believe that she might have not got over this disagreement, and that's why she tried to unalive everyone. But things don't even end there, because while DSS sat in prison, her husband told her that he wanted a divorce, and a day later
have had relations with the dead, decapitated, and the literal ground, so it makes sense that one fell in love with a waifu. Gurepukun was a penguin born in the Hamura Zoo in Tokyo in '96, and was eventually transferred to Mayashiro Saitama with his wife and his wife? Yeah, that's right, and after 10 years his mate Midori left him for a younger penguin. Ain't that a bird? At the same time, the zoo was putting up cutouts from the anime Kimono Friends as a promotion to attract visitors. They attracted a resident because Gurepukun became obsessed with the cutout of Hululu put by his place. But he spent hours eyeballing her, and they even had to move her from the tall rock she was on because the business chicken would fall into water trying to touch her. Even after the promotion ended, they kept her in his sights, possibly for his health. There's even a rumor they had to separate the otaku bird from the piece of cardboard because he started refusing to eat. The zoo, aka the Penguins PR team, has denied this. The Japanese media ran, sprinted, Tokyo drifted with the story, and Gurepukun became the zoo's ambassador. He even met Ikuko Chigura, the voice actor of his obsession, although reports state he preferred the 2D version. This wasn't a rebound or a side chick. Bro was ready to commit and would even perform the official Humboldt Penguin courtship dance at her. At one point there was a storm, and they had to bring Hululu inside so she wouldn't be blown away in the wind, and the brief time apart almost made Gurepukun retire from life. He'd officially resigned from existence in 2017 after an illness, but he died doing what he loved. Whatever this is, the more you know, and RIP Gurepukun.
Not guilty of...
The woman, in order to avenge her daughter, S-H-O-T, and killed the murdered Huese, and killed her 8-year-old daughter with her own hands in court, and was sometimes sentenced to life imprisonment. In court, when the jury declared Ethan Cole innocent, Sarah fainted on the spot. She couldn't believe that the murder of her daughter would eventually be acquitted. When Cole heard the verdict, he laughed smugly. The seemingly calm court instantly caused a huge stir. Amid the chaos, Sarah quickly regained consciousness, swiftly took out a weapon from her pocket, and pulled the trigger without hesitation. Ethan Cole fell to the ground immediately after 3 loud bangs. The court was instantly plunged into chaos. When the bailiff subdued Sarah, she didn't resist. She recalled that her daughter OTT's body had been discarded by the river, and that Ethan Cole had distorted the facts by claiming that his 8-year-old daughter seduced him. Sarah just wants to avenge her daughter. However, in the new trial, Sarah, who was originally a victim, will face charges of first-degree murder for premeditated carrying of a weapon. The judge said in the verdict that it was a tragedy for both sides and sentenced Sarah to life imprisonment. Do you think this mother is guilty? Let's exchange ideas in the comment section.
She unalived her mom and her stepdad in their bed to grow her social media platforms. 17-year-old Sarah Grace Patrick, back in February, allegedly pew-pewed her mom and her stepdad while they laid in the bed in their home in Georgia and fled the scene, leaving her 5-year-old sister to find their parents unalived. Immediately after the crime took place, 17-year-old Sarah went to the public for assistance to help find the people who committed these crimes. Since the event took place, Sarah has grown her social media platform, journaling her experience of her mom and dad's unaliving, continuing to work with law enforcement agencies, other content creators, and other media sources like true crime. Just a couple of days ago, an arrest warrant was issued out in the connection of the unaliving of 45-year-old James Brock and 41-year-old Kristen Brock. After months of claiming her innocence and jumping around from family members' houses, 17-year-old Sarah turned herself in to law enforcement to take a plea. What can possibly go through a young child's mind for them to decide to unalive their own parents? Like, follow, and share. Leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts.
This woman... It's that clout, man. Clout. It's a new drug, man. It just makes you do things you didn't think you were capable of doing just so you could get that attention. That attention, I guess, it makes people feel special when they have all those eyeballs on them. But it ain't worth it at the end of the day.
Right here, Jennifer Gledhill has been arrested for the murder of her husband, Matthew Johnson, and now her parents, Thomas and Rosalie, have been arrested for helping her cover up the murder. Jennifer was arrested when her lover, that's the terrible word, her boyfriend told police that she confessed to murdering Matthew. And apparently the reason she did it is because the husband found out that she was cheating. September 20th, he found out that she was having this affair. And so the next day, September 21st, she shot and killed him while he was sleeping. And according to the boyfriend, who later went to police and was like now an informant to the police, what Jennifer did was she shot him and then she put his body in a rooftop storage container. I think they mean one of those things that you put on the top of your car, you know, to store luggage or something in. And then she slid it down the stairs to get him into the back of her minivan. And then she drove the body to a location north somewhere, dug a hole and buried his body in a shallow grave. Police have still not been able to locate exactly where his body is. Then they were able to find blood stains under the bed in the master bedroom, but they realized that the mattress was brand new, and that's because Rosalie, Jennifer's mother, went and bought the mattress for Jennifer. There's evidence that the parents went and spent 5 hours cleaning up the crime scene, replacing this mattress, and now they're not cooperating with police. The parents even erased their phones, like to try to get rid of the evidence that they were communicating back and forth with their daughter. And police found a plastic tote with a gun in it. So it looks like they possibly could have been hiding the murder weapon as well for her. At this point, the judge has ordered that Jennifer has no contact with her 3 children, and their grandparents are in prison, so hopefully there's other family members who can help take care of these poor kids.
Her mom performed an exorcism on her because she believed that she was possessed. 3-year-old Aurelie Proctor lived with her 25-year-old mom, Claudia Hernandez, in San Jose, California. Claudia believed that Aurelie was possessed because she would wake up in the middle of the night screaming and crying. Aurelie wouldn't stop, so this made Claudia believe that she was possessed somehow. On September 24th of 2021, around 6:30 a.m., Claudia and her brother drove Aurelie to a nearby church to help with her alleged possession. Claudia grabs Aurelie by the neck and the waist, trying to get her to throw up this evil spirit. Claudia's dad was the pastor of that church, and he ends up showing up to help them out. Claudia then puts her fingers down Aurelie's throat, and she ends up throwing up a clear/purple liquid. All of this went on for 12 hours, and just the day before, Aurelie was only given 6 ounces of water. Aurelie ended up passing away between 6 to 6:30 p.m. Once it was after 8 p.m., Claudia called 911 to report that her daughter had passed away. Once first responders arrived, they noticed that Aurelie had bruising around her eye, neck, and chest. At the time, no one was arrested because there wasn't enough evidence. A few days later, Claudia set up a GoFundMe to raise money for her daughter's burial. On January 27th of 2022, Claudia uploaded a YouTube video addressing the whole situation. She was not remorseful and basically said it is what it is. On January 31st, law enforcement were finally able to arrest and book Claudia into the Santa Clara County Jail because of that YouTube video, and on May 13th, her father and brother were arrested as well.
This Colorado man is accused of killing, decapitating a woman, and having her severed hand inside of his pocket during the arrest. This happened in Pueblo County, Colorado, and a 26-year-old security guard murdered a 47-year-old woman. On January 10th at 3:47 p.m., officers responded to a distress call and found the victim's body floating in the water. The victim was identified as Rainy Portillos. Officers later arrested Solomon Martinez, pictured behind me, and charged him with first-degree murder. After killing this woman, Solomon Martinez went home to his roommate, and his roommate helped him push this very heavy bag out of the car and into the water. You see where this is going. A man witnessed them do this, and Martinez threatened him with a gun, but the man refused to even forget about the situation. He called the cops immediately. Martinez then recorded a video of the body and put a blanket over it to cover himself, as if his clothes and all that weren't blood-stained already. Upon the police interrogating him, they found a plastic bag with her hand in it. There was also blood and cuts all over his hands and wrists, and his story kept changing by the minute. He is now in custody at the Pueblo County Jail, and his bond is set for $1 million. Also, upon further investigating the vehicle, detectives found the blood of the woman inside of his vehicle. What do you guys think about this crazy story? And reminder, these videos are for informational purposes only. Go check out my YouTube channel. Link in bio.
World can be an evil place, as we just witnessed, man. The fact that he had his roommate help him. Mind-boggling.
So, during the night then, I want to get to the part. What wakes you up?
Crashing noise.
Okay. Did your kids wake up at the crashing noise?
No.
Did your kids wake up at any gunshots?
No.
So you heard a crashing noise. What do you do?
I got out of bed and I stumbled on the dog at the end of the bed and I walked out of the bedroom. I walked into the bathroom because that's what I thought it was our shower caddy had fallen. It had fallen earlier in the week.
All right. Where did you go next?
I went to the kitchen next and looked out the window that is over the sink, which overlooks basically our driveway and front yard.
Did you see anybody out there?
I did not.
What did you do next?
Then I went and walked into the living room on the other side of the house to turn on, well, in all honesty, to yell at Ryan for not waking up with me, because my thought was, why isn't he up looking? Like, how did he not hear that? So then I walked to the living room and turned on a lamp.
Was there some point that we've heard that you said that you got up at some point and heard Ryan snoring? Is that a different time window then?
When I got up to go to the bathroom around what I thought was 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard him snoring regularly.
Okay.
When I was in the kitchen, I heard a single snore sound come from the living room.
Okay. Do you have your phone in your hand while you're walking, making these steps?
Most likely, yes.
Put a light.
So, you get to the living room, you turn on the lamp. What happens?
I just started screaming.
And then, how long are we waiting before we call Aaron Cooper?
It seemed like forever, but a couple of minutes. I ran back out of the living room through the dining room, and I was halfway up the steps when Cade was coming down the steps. I think I scared him because I remember him like turning around like he was going to run away from me, like run back up the steps, and then he realized it was me, and I grabbed him and we went downstairs and I put him in the bedroom, and I went in the bedroom as well, and I believe that's where I called Aaron from, was the bedroom. So to answer your question, it was probably a couple of minutes, but it felt like a lifetime.
She opened the door to a big bad wolf, and he took her life. Dorene Herbert was born on November 29th of 1952 and was from Santa Clara, California. She started dating William Michael Dennis. Later they got married and had a son together named Paul Dennis. In 1977, they ended up getting a divorce. Dorene got custody of their son Paul, and William was still able to come visit. Eventually, Dorene met Charles Herbert. He was a carpet store owner, and later on they ended up getting married. Dorene and Charles raised Paul, and eventually she got pregnant again, and in 1979 she had a little girl named Deanna. It seemed like their marriage was going great, but Dorene's ex-husband William remained bitter. In February of 1980, 4-year-old Paul had fell into the swimming pool, and when he was found unresponsive. 911 was called and he was put on life support, but after a few days he was taken off of it and unfortunately passed away. As devastating as it was for everyone, William took his son's death extremely hard, and he felt like his ex-wife Dorene was to blame for it. He even tried suing Charles and Dorene, but he lost. He lost his job, his mental health deteriorated, and his resentment towards Dorene grew. As a few years had passed by, Dorene found out she was pregnant again, and she was due in November of 1984. On Halloween night of 1984, Dorene was only a couple weeks away from delivering her baby, and she was taking out Deanna to go trick-or-treating. Once they got back home, Charles left the home to go buy some cigarettes, and as soon as he left the home, Dorene noticed that there was a hard knock at the front door. As Dorene was opening the front door, she had Deanna right next to her when she noticed that on the other side there was a person wearing a wolf mask. The person on the other side of the door was carrying a hatchet and mumbled, "I'm going to kill you," and quickly Dorene told Deanna to hide behind the couch. Once Charles returned home, he opened the door and saw that Dorene had been attacked, and their unborn baby was cut out of her abdomen and cut into tiny little pieces. There was so much blood around the area that Charles had fell looking for Deanna, but luckily she was unharmed, hiding behind the couch. Although Dorene still had a pulse, she unfortunately died on the way to the hospital. Charles was detained for questioning, but once the police started talking to neighbors, they explained the history between the couple and William. Once police had arrived at the crime scene, they found the wolf mask with a trail of blood, and they ended up going to William's home, and that's when they found blood in his truck. He was soaked with blood on his clothing, and he had even made 2 makeshift caskets. In 1988, William was convicted of first-degree and second-degree murder of Dorene and her unborn son. He was placed on death row but passed away in 2023.
Chilling story, man. Resentment will cause your life to deteriorate. Truly. In that weird hotel room? I'm out. We don't do that.
You guys, what the hell? This couple was arrested on Friday after their 6-year-old told his teacher he didn't want to go home because he didn't want to go back into a cage. The dad is 35-year-old Justin Huff and the mom is 31-year-old Yuru Exi. I probably said that wrong. Come to find out, they're both scientists at the University of Florida. So the 6-year-old's teacher called the Department of Children and Family Services, who got the police involved. They went over to the house along with a social worker, and they just guided them right to the cage like it was normal. Now, I want to point out that it isn't just a 6-year-old who is getting caged, but they have a 2-year-old that they were doing this to as well. Now look at this. The parents allegedly acknowledged locking the eldest boy in the wooden enclosure, which was made out of pressure-treated 2x4s. Saying he was disobedient and had ADHD, police said. The mother reportedly said the boy was locked inside while she was working and that her husband let him out when he returned home from work. The mother also allegedly told police she had tried to find a childcare program for the boy, but his bad behavior resulted in no one wanting to take him. Oh, yeah, let's blame the 6-year-old. So then the 6-year-old showed authorities an overturned crib in his parents' closet where the 2-year-old little boy was confined at night. He also lifted one side of the crib to show how his parents placed the toddler inside. The crib's mattress was on the floor, and there were metal springs and wiring hanging from the upside-down bed that could harm the 2-year-old. The mother allegedly said the toddler was kept inside the overturned crib because he climbed out of it at night. What the hell? Huff and C are being held at the Alachua, I probably said that wrong, county jail in lieu of $600,000 bail, according to online records. She has pleaded not guilty to the charges filed against her, according to court records. Additional reports also state that the 6-year-old boy told police that sometimes he would be in the cage from the time he got home from school that afternoon until the very next morning around 7 a.m. when it was time to leave again. I have a 6-year-old little boy. I don't get what the hell's wrong with people. They're being charged with aggravated child abuse and child neglect. The kids are with family members right now. They're on an administrative leave. I don't see them going back. This is obviously an ongoing case. I will keep you guys updated.
Lock them in cages, man. That's evil work, man. And the fact that, like I said, that she just walked over there and just showing them the cage like it's normal, I do not know what goes through people's mind, man. They truly, truly do not know what they're doing, bro. Some people just don't deserve to have kids. That's just plain and simple. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys comment down below. Hit that post notification bell, man, so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.